Alright there, singing world. This video will offer Italian pronunciation help for Sempre, Libera, Violetta's aria from La Traviata. We will explore the tips and tricks to help you sing your aria without accent and also discuss proper open and closed vowels, other non-phonetic things such as phrasal doubling and assimilation. Before we do that, please direct your attention to the description of this video below. I have given you the text written out with all of the non-phonetic things, the open vowels, the phrasal doublings, and the assimilation. And what we will do is we will offer this as part of a 3-video series. The first video will deal with the recitativo, and then the second video with the cavatina, and a third with the cabaletta, since there's so much, this is such a long aria and it's in depth, so the videos don't get too long. Besides that, in the description box, I will have links to the other parts of the series and also to my websites. My Facebook fan page is on there. Please take a moment and give me a like if you have a moment. Also, there's a link to the RAI, the pronunciation dictionary, on the RAI site. If you follow the link below or type into a search engine, RAIDOP, the site should come up. What you can do with this site is type in any word, and there's a playback button, and you'll have a native Italian speaker saying the words. You can also find out what you can discover open and closed vowels on the site. And what I like about it the most is that it acknowledges the existence of non-phonetic Italian. So things like phrasal doubling and assimilation, it will have whole lines written out with these things in action. If you don't know what these terms mean right now, by the end of this series of videos, you will be an expert, I promise. We will go through every word in detail and go word by word. So let's get started. So what we'll do first is we'll go through every single word and every tip and trick to get rid of your accent in the Italian. And not only that, the common mistakes I've heard, things that you can do wrong, things that will give you away as not being a native Italian speaker. Okay, so here we go. So we'll start with the rest of the T first. So we have strano. So the first E is open E, right? So E's can either be A or A. A as in hey or A as in head, right? The word for is printed with an E, with an accent, and that is A. Okay, now that's distinguished from the word for and, which is also a single E, and is closed, is A. All right, so this first vowel, that's a whole word, is also what is known as a strong monosyllable. So this is the first non-phonetic thing I'd like to discuss. So a strong monosyllable is a single syllable word that causes the next word to start with a double consonant. So if you've noticed, I've written out strano. So if you notice, the S hisses a little bit, the next word is a double S. Strano. You could also do that. Stop the strano. Okay? So now the next word has a rolled R and a single N. So strano. So let's go over the two rules for single and double consonants. So R's are rolled if they touch a consonant. So this R touches a consonant, so it is rrr, right? So if it were between two vowels, if you look at the end of this first this first line, there's the word cɔre, so the R is flipped in that word because it's surrounded by vowels. So the rule for R is if the R touches a consonant, it is rolled, as in strano. If it is surrounded by vowels, it is flipped, as in cɔre. Okay, so a rolled R is done on pitch, right? And so you have the actual pitch that you're singing through it. The flipped R doesn't linger long enough for anything to happen like that. So it is like saying say we take cɔre again, and we did code, code, right, like that. Now that tongue would be flat on the tip. The flipped R is with a very pointed tongue. So it's almost like singing a D, but the R is with the tip of the tongue a little bit more rigid, right? So cɔre, and that's how you get the flipped R. So let's go back to the word strano. The other mistake you can make is you could double the N, right? And I hear this a lot in an audition. I hear strano, right? So let's go through the difference between single N and double N so you have command over these two things if you're having a problem. So how do we make double N? We hold the N in position while we phonate, and that's it, right? So if you do that's holding the N in position while your vocal cords are engaged, right? So if you go strano, that's double N, right? So this is not what we want in this word. We want single N. So how do we do single N? We don't allow the tongue to remain in position so it doesn't stay in the N position while we phonate. We don't give it a chance, right? So strano. So the N goes by so fast it has no chance to hang on. There's no fermata on the end. Strano, thus, right? So strano. So that's single N. Okay, so let's go on. So now we have IN in ancora. So now what we have here is an assimilation with this N, because the most typical position for N is with the tip of the tongue behind the ridge of the upper teeth, right? So if I were to say it alone, right? But I'm going to say cɔre. So cɔre, notice which part of the tongue says that if you say it, that K sound, right? It's with the middle of the tongue. So the N will assimilate there. So the N is now with the middle of the tongue. Ancora. Does that make sense? See? Ancora. You're making it with the middle of the tongue. Now, let's talk about the word qquegli. It starts with a K sound, right? So here's the difference with Italian unvoiced consonants. So all throughout unvoiced consonants in Italian. Well, let's discuss voiced and unvoiced consonants, right? So a G, a voiced G versus an unvoiced K. They are both the same consonant, right? So to say a K in English, see we have air going through it, and it's unvoiced. The reason why it's unvoiced is my vocal cords are not engaged. K. But if I said, cow, right? But if I said gow instead, now my vocal cords are engaged. So the G and the K are the same consonant. So getting back to qquegli, right? It's not qquegli as in English, but it's almost like ggiɔia, right? Now you're not going to sing ggiɔia, but just to demonstrate how much closer to the voiced in Italian the unvoiced is when you sing ggiɔia, cɔre, right? So I can go really unvoiced, cɔre, right? Ggiɔia, cɔre. So you can practice that. So now going back, these two words, ancora, are together. Okay, so that right there will keep you more in line. So let's go on. So we have Scolpiti, Scolpiti. So we have a closed O, and as what happens with E's, O's are the other non-phonetic vowel, right? So let's go over phonetic and non-phonetic vowels. So E's and O's in Italian are non-phonetic because they can be two sounds with one letter, right? So printed O in Italian can either be O as in oats or AW, aw, without a glide, right? So here's the other big difference is Italian vowels are pure. We're always checking for that purity, right? Even if we know this, we hear this over and over again, but we're also going to figure out how to check for purity when we do sing these vowels, right? So in this case, a closed O is like the O in oats, again without. So this is Scolpiti in this word, right? It's not Scolpiti, but Scolpiti, right? So we also have an L that touches a P and a single T. So let's discuss this also, right? So the L that touches the P will phonate. So in Italian would say Scolpiti. It goes by really fast in speech, but when you sing, it takes a little bit longer, so you have to linger on that. It's actually a little exaggerating for lyric diction, right? So Scolpiti. Now, the mistake we can also make in this word is we could double the T, right? Scolpiti, right? So how do we double a T versus a single T versus a double T? A double T is done by stopping the phonation before the T, right? So Scolpiti would be a double T. So I do a long vowel, I stop phonation, I go up to the T without saying it, and then I stop, right? Scolpiti, right? So that's a mistake in this word because it's Scolpiti, right? So the stress is on the E vowel before the T, right? So Scolpiti. How do I get rid of the double T? First of all, I don't stop phonation, but besides that, I make sure that the vowels are long, right? So here's the first purity test we will do on vowels. If we just concentrate on vowels and take out all the consonants in the word, right? It would be O-E, O-E, right? So this sensation of what the vowels feel like, O-E, is the same when we put the consonants back in because we have single consonants, right? So, O-E Scolpiti. So there's no feeling of stopping in the vowels, and that's how we get single consonants. Let's go on. So here is our first open O. H-O is often, in the United States, I hear O all the time, and it's O, right? So, and it's also a strong monosyllable. So it's O, and if you notice the next K sound, qquegli, is going to be doubled, right? So first of all, let's do the word qquegli. So this is a closed E, qquegli, right? And the GLI is li. So hard for Americans to do, right? So you have a YI, yi, right? And then you have an L before it. Yi, qquegli. So that takes a lot of flesh to do this. Okay, so now let's go back to the initial K sound that is doubled, right? Again, it's as close to a G as possible, but unvoiced, right? Qquegli, qquegli. So now before this, to double it, we say O qquegli. And you see how the double is soft. It's not loud, right? It's not done by the force of the consonant. It's done by the space, right? So it's the stop in phonation. O qquegli. And it's very, very, it's just like a little bit of spice, right? You don't want to exaggerate. You don't want to be O qquegli, or even worse, shortening the vowel before O qquegli. You don't want to do that, right? O qquegli. It's just very nice. It's a little, it's like al dente pasta. That's it. Okay? So that's our double. So how do we do it? Do we do two Ks? No. I've printed two Ks, right? But we don't do O qquegli, right? We don't do a K before we sing that, right? We don't do two Qs, right? So what happens is we do a long vowel, O, we stop phonation. Again, long vowel, O, stop phonation, go up to the Q and don't say it. O qquegli. And that's how you do a double. Okay? Now that was very exaggerated in slow motion, but that's exactly the process that happens. Now, the next word has an open E on the stress, and we're going to talk about stressed vowels and unstressed vowels. So, accɛnti is the word, and if you notice, the double ch in the word, the double C, which makes a ch sound, follows the same principle as the double Q in the previous word, right? So we're just going to go up to it and not say it. Accɛnti, right? So the double C is done by the space, not by two C's, right? So the E vowel is open E, right? So E can either be A or A, and in this case it's A. Notice the N before the T, how it phonates, right? Accɛnti. See, and it's up. Enti. Okay? So let's talk about stress and unstress and how it affects open and closed E's. Okay, so what affects open and closed E's? Well, it's unstressed that affects open and closed E's, because if we have a stressed part of the vowel and we have an unaccented vowel, right? Unaccented part of the vowel, right? So in this word accɛnti, the E is accented. Well, any E's and O's that fall on an unaccented syllable, for instance, going back to Scolpiti, where the accent is on the P, not on the O, they're all going to be closed. So all unaccented syllables are closed. That's very good news, right? So you know anything that does not fall on the accent of the word is either going to be O or A. Okay? Again, I'll repeat that. Anything that falls on the unaccented part of the word is O or A, closed vowel. Now, the accented syllables, here's the bad news. Accented syllables, you have to memorize them because they can either be open or closed, and there's no rule. There are a few formulas for certain parts of speech. Gerunds, certain things fall under certain verb tenses. Some are almost always closed. You can memorize those formulas, but other than that, every word you come across must be memorized, and you must mark it in your score. So, accɛnti, the E falls on the stress, and we know that it's open. Okay, so accɛnti, open E. Okay, going on. Sarìa. So here's an E that is not a semivowel, and a lot of times it's marked with this accent as it is in this one, and sometimes it's not, and it's another thing you have to memorize. So that's another non-phonetic thing in Italian. Sarìa. Notice that the R is flipped because it is surrounded by vowels. And I did not talk about the phonetic vowels, but there are 3 phonetic vowels in Italian. A, which is the letter A, it is always A, it never changes. And nothing harmonizes it, right? E, I, which is always E, no matter where it is, it's E. And U, so U is always U. So there, that's the exact form always. Okay, going on. P-E-R is closed. A, per. Okay, it doesn't rhyme with the fruit, pear. I hear that a lot. Per. Here's your purity test for this, right? Just sing per, and then make sure that it's good for singing. It's not all closed down, right? Next is me, right? M-E, me. Now, me is a strong monosyllable, so if you notice the sventura. So, per me sventura. It's a slight doubling from the z sound at the beginning. Now, notice sventura, the E is closed, and we can prove why it is, because the accent of the word is on tura, right? Sventura. So all the E's and O's that fall on a non-stressed syllable will be closed. Going on. Un, phonetic vowel. Sɛrio, right? Not ser, right? We know people named Sergio, right? We say this in English all the time. So we have major neurons that see S-E-R, and we want to say ser, right? But if you think like right? Purity test again. Sɛrio. And notice that the E in this case is a semivowel, right? Sɛrio. So the lion's share of the expressiveness is on the first syllable. Sɛrio. Going on. Amore. Closed O. Closed E. Now this is a stressed O. We have to memorize that it's closed. And then we know that the unstressed E is closed, right? A lot of mistakes in this word, right? People double the M and they double the R. I hear all the time, amore, right? Which is Neapolitan, right? Neapolitan dialect. Amore, right? So, aoe is how you practice. You get those vowels flowing. Amore. And double M is just like double N. If we want to double it, we hold the M in position while we phonate, right? So if we did want to double M, we do amore. That's double M, holding the M while you phonate. Amore in this case. Okay, going on. K is closed E. C-H-E is K. C-E is che, right? So the H usually does nothing other than either make a consonant hard, and it's usually silent in Italian, right? K. So the next word, because K is a strong monosyllable, The R will double now, right? So usually this R between two vowels will be flipped, but in this case, we're going to roll the R at the beginning. Okay, so now solvere or solvi, right, is the real word. Is to resolve, right? But it's rrisɔlvi, right? So it's an unvoiced S technically, right? When you sing, it's very hard to tell, and it's probably better to sing a voiced S at this point, right? So rrisɔlvi is the real word, right? Rrisɔlvi. So che rrisɔlvi, and it's an open O if you notice on the stress. The word O is a doubling word also, so it's going to be o tturbata. Here's another purity test, right? Tturbata. Also, right? So what happens in English is we have two A's in a row. We like to neutralize, right? So America, we do that. And it's likely we're going to say tturbata and neutralize. Tturbata. So keep that all the same going on. Anima. Again, same thing, right? Mia. So notice in anima we have all single N's and M's, and then mia, the accent is on the E. Going on, we have double L, and double L is like N and M. When we want to double it, we hold the L while we phonate, right? So null. So null. Now the next word is uomo. See, notice that it's o, uomo, right? So open on the stress, close on the unstress. The U opens the O, right? Uomo. So null'uɔmo. Going on. Ancora. Closed O, right? So the stress in the middle is the normal stress. There is a word ancora, and that's the anchor of a boat, right? Ancora. Closed O. Single R. The N assimilates. Did you see that? Ancora. So it's with the middle of the tongue. T'accendeva. So here's a good suffix, right? So all the eva verbs in this tense are closed. So t'accendeva. So if you hear noise in the background, it's because they were having work done in the apartment below. Apparently, the fire alarm went off and the sprinklers went off, and all hell broke loose a couple days ago. So it's not Santa's elves down there. They're actually making funny noises right now. So going on, ggiɔia. So here's a word, right? Is a double G. So there's a strong monosyllable. The word O, double G, ggiɔia. So it's open O in the middle on the stress of ggiɔia. Please note that the interjection O can either be pronounced open or closed. There are a few words that give you a choice. So ggiɔia. Going on, qquegli. So the O is closed and the emphasis is on the E. So the word for I, qquegli. Non is closed. Non. No, the word for no, is not open. Non is closed. Next word, conobbi. So here we have a double B, our first double B, and it's closed O, closed O. Conobbi. So let's talk about double B. We love to double B as Americans, right? So I hear all the time conobbi with an open O before the double B, right? And a really strong double B. Italians, there's almost no difference between single B and double B, right? Except for double B is held for a second and you don't stop phonation, right? So correct, conobbi. Incorrect, conobbi. Doing it like a double T. You see what I mean? Right? Incorrect, conobbi. Right? Where it just kind of has no bite to it at all, right? Conobbi. Going on. essere. Notice that the stressed vowel is at the beginning and it's open, and then all the ere conjugation, here's another formula you can memorize, all of the infinitives ere are closed. Essere. Next, amata. Again, it's a good ah word, right? Because you have three ahs, and they all have to be exactly the same. Amata. Right? Single M, single T. Amando. Again, o. The O at the end is going to be closed because it's not in a stressed position. Here's the word and. It's closed. Sdegnarla. Sdegnarla. So it's ZD, right? Sdegnarla. So it's a voiced Z. The R rolls because it touches an L. Going on. Pɔss'io. So the POSS, the O is open. Pɔss'io. Going on. Per, PER, we've had that already. Laride. So, laride. So the stress on this word is in a strange place, right? It's on the antepenultimate. That's the syllable that's one before the one before the end, right? So the normal stress in Italian is the second to last syllable, right? Conobbi is a good example of that, right? And then some have the antepenultimate, like ɛssere, laride. These are less common. Okay, going on. The accent on this is on the E, so it's not foglie, it's follie. Again, the L has to be exaggerated when you sing. The L is held in position while you phonate. Going on, del, del, viver, close D, mio. Notice that also in final R. Let's talk about final R, right? So final R will roll if it's the last thing you say, or if the next word starts with a consonant. Final R will roll. If the next word starts with a vowel, now this R will be surrounded by vowels, and it will be flipped. Okay, so that's another wrapping up our rolled and flipped R discussion. Okay, so now we have finished the rest of the recit. So let's read the entire lines and get everything together, the arc of the phrase and the phrasal doublings. Strano, strano, in core scolpiti ququegli accɛnti. Sarìa per me sventura un serio amore, che rrisɔlvi tturbata anima mia. Null'uɔmo ancora t'accendeva, ggiɔia ch'io non conobbi, essere amata amando, sdegnarla pɔss'io per l'aride follie del viver mio. So we've come to the end of the recit. So I will continue this in another video. So we'll do part 2, the cavatina, in the next video of this series. I'll leave you the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, please like, please share, and don't forget to see your coach. We'll see you at the opera. Thank you very much for watching.